If you are seeing this today, understand this clearly. It is not random. It is not coincidence. It is not an accident of algorithms or timing. Because God does not speak casually, and He does not interrupt your life without intention. And the reason this message has reached you at this exact moment is because God knows what you have been carrying silently. He knows the weight behind your smile. He knows the questions you ask late at night when no one is listening. He knows the prayers you stopped saying out loud because you were afraid of being disappointed again. And God is saying this reached you today because your spirit is finally ready to hear what your heart has been longing to understand. That the delays were not denials, the silence was not abandonment, and the resistance was not rejection. It was preparation, because there were things God needed to remove from you before He could release what He promised to you. And if He had answered you sooner, you would have mistaken relief for purpose and comfort for calling. But now you are wiser, more discerning, less desperate for approval, more hungry for peace. And that shift did not happen overnight. It was built through pain you survived, tears you wiped alone, prayers you whispered when faith felt fragile, and obedience you chose even when nothing seemed to change. And God says you did not lose anything that was meant for you. You only lost what could not follow you into the next season, because where God is taking you requires clarity, strength, and humility. And the reason things fell apart was because they could not be allowed to go forward with you. So today, God is speaking directly to you to remind you that He has been watching your endurance. He has been counting your faithfulness. He has been honoring your restraint. And what you thought was stagnation was actually alignment. Because while you were waiting, God was working behind the scenes, moving people, rearranging paths, closing doors you kept trying to reopen, and protecting you from outcomes you were not ready to handle. And now you are standing at the edge of understanding, where the pain begins to make sense and the lessons begin to connect. And God says this message reached you today because you are finally in a posture where you will not misuse what He is about to show you, because you no longer want it for ego, revenge, or validation. You want it for peace, purpose, and obedience. And that is the kind of heart God responds to. So if you have felt an inner pull towards stillness, prayer, reflection, and truth, that is not weakness, that is maturity. And God is saying, do not rush this season, because what is unfolding now is delicate and sacred, and it must be carried with faith and patience, not fear and control. And God wants you to know that He has heard every prayer you prayed when your voice shook. He has seen every time you chose kindness instead of bitterness, restraint instead of reaction, trust instead of panic. And those moments mattered more than you know, because heaven records obedience even when earth ignores it. And today God is speaking directly to you to tell you that you are not behind, you are not forgotten, and you are not disqualified. You are right on schedule according to His timing. And what is coming next will not arrive with chaos, but with clarity, not with confusion, but with confirmation. And when it happens, you will recognize it, not because it is loud, but because it brings peace. And God says, stop doubting yourself for outgrowing things that once felt familiar. Because growth always feels like loss before it feels like freedom. And the reason you have felt lonely is because you are transitioning, and not everyone can walk with you where God is leading you. And that is okay, because obedience sometimes separates before it elevates. And today, God is speaking to remind you that your story is not ending in struggle. It is being rewritten in strength. And what you are about to see will not erase the pain you went through, but it will redeem it, because God never wastes suffering. He uses it to sharpen discernment, deepen compassion, and anchor faith. And if you are listening now with an open heart, this is your confirmation that you are closer than you think, closer to peace, closer to clarity, closer to answered prayer. And God is asking you today to trust Him, not because everything makes sense, but because He does. And to release control, not because you are giving up, but because you are handing it over. And as you do, you will notice doors opening without force, conversations aligning without effort, opportunities appearing without anxiety. Because when God moves, He does not need you to struggle. He needs you to surrender. And this message reached you today because your season of striving is ending and your season of alignment is beginning. So breathe, let go, and stay faithful, because God is not finished with you. He is just getting started. And this moment, this message, this exact day is proof that He is speaking directly to you.